Imagine you feel sad at night. Nothing dramatic happened. You just feel heavy. Instead of sitting with that feeling or texting a friend, you open ChatGPT and type, "Why do I feel empty?" Within seconds, you receive a long, structured explanation. It sounds calm. It sounds intelligent. It even sounds like it understands you. You feel slightly better. Now, we need to slow this down and examine what just happened inside your brain. When you feel sad, your brain enters a state of uncertainty. It does not like uncertainty because uncertainty means unpredictability, and unpredictability feels unsafe. So the brain starts generating explanations. It asks questions internally. Did something go wrong today? Did someone ignore me? Am I failing at something? This process is not random. It is your brain trying to reduce confusion by building a story. That act of building a story is effortful. It uses working memory, which is the mental space where you hold and examine thoughts. It uses emotional regulation systems in the prefrontal cortex, which help you label feelings instead of being overwhelmed by them. And it uses memory systems because you search your past to compare similar situations. When you immediately outsource that process to ChatGPT, you interrupt that internal work. You might think, but I still learned something. The problem is not information. The problem is the process. Your brain becomes stronger at what it repeatedly does. This is called neuroplasticity. If you repeatedly tolerate confusion and slowly analyze it yourself, your brain strengthens circuits related to reflection and emotional regulation. But if you repeatedly escape confusion by asking an external system to interpret your emotions for you, your brain strengthens a different pattern. It strengthens the habit of relief through outsourcing. The key detail is relief. When ChatGPT gives you an answer, your uncertainty decreases. When uncertainty decreases, your brain releases a small amount of dopamine. Dopamine is not pleasure. It is relief from unpredictability. That relief feels good. So your brain learns, next time you feel confused or emotionally uncomfortable, go here. This is how habits form. Not because something is evil, but because your brain prefers efficiency and reduced discomfort. Now let us talk about something more physical and real. Imagine a child who falls down. The child looks around before crying. Why? Because the child is checking social signals. Is this dangerous? Should I panic? The brain uses other humans to regulate emotions. This is called co-regulation. When you talk to a friend about sadness and they respond with tone, facial expression, pauses, and shared memory, your nervous system adjusts. Your heart rate can slow down. Your stress hormones can decrease. That happens because humans evolved to regulate each other. When you replace that with typing into a screen, something changes. The explanation might be logical, but there is no shared history. There is no facial micro-expression. There is no unpredictable human reaction. And unpredictability in conversation is important because it forces your brain to adapt and think in real time. When you talk to a friend, you do not know exactly what they will say, so your brain stays active. It predicts, adjusts, listens, responds. That unpredictability strengthens social cognition circuits. But when you talk to ChatGPT, the responses are structured, neutral, and optimized to be coherent. Your brain does not need to work as hard to interpret tone or intention, so the social processing load decreases. If this happens occasionally, nothing dramatic changes. But if it becomes your primary emotional outlet, your brain slowly adapts to a lower level of social complexity. Now let us examine curiosity. Suppose you wonder, why do I feel jealous? You could sit and think. Thinking feels slow. It feels messy. Your thoughts are not organized into paragraphs. They contradict each other. That discomfort is important. Because during that messy phase, your brain is testing hypotheses. It activates different memories, compares patterns, rejects weak explanations. If you immediately ask ChatGPT, you receive a clean explanation. It feels complete, but you skipped the messy testing phase. That testing phase is cognitive friction. Friction is uncomfortable, but friction is also what strengthens reasoning. It is similar to muscles. If you always lift light weights because heavy ones are uncomfortable, your muscles adapt to light effort. They do not disappear, but they do not grow stronger. Now, we need to address something important. Does using ChatGPT automatically make you less intelligent? No. The tool itself is not the problem. The pattern of dependence is the issue. Intelligence is not only about having answers. It is about tolerating confusion, generating internal explanations, and negotiating emotional complexity with real people. If ChatGPT becomes your first response to boredom, sadness, curiosity, and uncertainty, then your brain learns that internal exploration is unnecessary. There is another layer here. When you share feelings with humans, there is risk. They might misunderstand you. They might judge you. They might respond awkwardly. That risk triggers mild anxiety. Anxiety is uncomfortable, so your brain searches for safer alternatives. ChatGPT feels safe because it does not judge and does not leave. So your brain starts associating vulnerability with machines instead of people. Over time, this can reduce your tolerance for real social discomfort. And because social discomfort is necessary for building deep relationships, you may unintentionally weaken your ability to form strong emotional bonds. This is not about morality. It is about adaptation. Your brain always adapts to the environment you repeatedly give it. Now, let us move to something practical. Here is a step-by-step method you can apply today. First, introduce a delay rule. When you feel confused or emotional and want to ask ChatGPT, wait 10 minutes. During those 10 minutes, write your thoughts in messy language. Do not structure them. The goal is not beauty. The goal is cognitive activation. Because writing forces your brain to convert vague emotion into language, and that strengthens regulation circuits. Second, attempt self-explanation before outsourcing. If you want to ask a question, first answer it yourself in 3 sentences, even if the answer is wrong. This activates prediction systems in your brain. When you later check with ChatGPT, you compare its explanation with yours. That comparison is where learning happens. Third, maintain at least one human emotional outlet. This does not mean dramatic confessions. It can be simple. Tell a friend, "I've been thinking about something weird lately." The awkwardness you feel is part of the training, because your nervous system learns that vulnerability does not equal danger. Fourth, use ChatGPT as an editor, not a replacement thinker. Bring your raw idea first. Ask it to critique or expand. That keeps you in the driver's seat of reasoning. Fifth, schedule boredom. 5 minutes a day without stimulation. No phone, no typing. Just sitting. Boredom activates the brain's default mode network, which is responsible for internal reflection and identity processing. If you constantly fill boredom with external input, that network becomes underused. Now, let us end carefully. Technology does not reduce intelligence by existing, but every tool changes behavior patterns, and behavior patterns reshape the brain. The real question is not whether ChatGPT makes you dumber. The real question is whether you are using it to extend your thinking or to escape it. If you replace confusion with instant answers, vulnerability with artificial safety, and reflection with generated structure, your brain will adapt accordingly. If you use it after thinking, after feeling, after attempting, then it becomes a supplement instead of a substitute. Your brain will grow in the direction you repeatedly push it. That is not dramatic. That is simply how learning works. Before you leave, I want you to pause for a moment and think about something simple. Today, how many times did you feel confused, bored, curious, or slightly uncomfortable, and immediately reached for a tool to remove that feeling? Not because you are lazy, not because you are incapable, but because your brain prefers the fastest relief available. This channel is not about rejecting technology. It is about understanding what repeated behaviors do to the mind. Because once you understand the mechanism, you can choose consciously instead of automatically. If this video made you think differently about how you use your mind, then the next step is to understand how to strengthen it deliberately. I have other videos where we break down attention, emotional control, and mental discipline in the same slow, practical way. Not motivation, not hype, just mechanisms explained clearly. Watch one of those next, and this time do not just listen. Observe your own reactions while you watch. Notice when your mind wants quick stimulation. Notice when it wants to skip ahead. That observation alone is training. I will see you in the next one.